So, I'm not sure if you've heard, but ESPN dropped a stats-based 2022 to 2023 win projections list last week. Among the teams at the top are your usual suspects, led by the Boston Celtics with 53.9 projected wins, the Milwaukee Bucks coming in second with 49.5 projected wins, followed by the Phoenix Suns, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Denver Nuggets respectively. Notice something missing? Among the top teams, specifically in the Western Conference, there is a glaring omission. A quick look at the list itself, and you will find yourself asking the question, where the heck are the defending champions? Scroll down and you'll finally see the Golden State Warriors sitting snug at 8th in the West, with 41.9 projected average wins directly under the Dallas Mavericks, a team they defeated in 5 games during the playoffs last year. Meanwhile, another team that the Finals MVP Stephen Curry and company sent home packing last year, the Memphis Grizzlies, placed 4 spots higher than them at 4th place, with 46.1 projected wins. The question is, what gives? Why is a team that just won the title, brought back 10 players from last season's championship run, recovered the health of one of its core players in Klay Thompson, and also will be having their high-potential youngsters back again with deep playoff experience on their belts being criminally underrated? Before diving into the video, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more NBA analysis such as this one. With that, on to the video. Let's expand on just what kind of prediction model ESPN used for their list. According to the writer, Kevin Pelton, the result is an expected wins total based on average health luck. Because some teams will have better or worse fortune, but we don't know which ones, the average totals will inevitably be closer to 500 than the actual final standings. To his credit, he did mention that he expects Golden State to outperform this projection and be back near the top of the West. However, the list he presented directly contradicts this statement. So, why did he even publish it in the first place? Maybe for the purpose of generating controversy, giving not just Warriors fans, but also NBA fans something to talk about. Selecting an arbitrary statistic that realistically doesn't tell the whole story is very irresponsible. Furthermore, it was a combination of a stat created by the writer himself called Shown and a 3-year luck-adjusted RAPM value from a website called NBAShotCharts.com. The writer also mentioned that the loss of Otto Porter Jr. and Gary Payton II hurts the projections for Golden State. Now, we have talked extensively on this channel about how, despite the losses the Warriors bench took this past offseason, that they were still primed for an excellent season and a championship repeat due to the expected leaps by their young core in Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and a returning James Wiseman. Poole, who is now eligible for a contract extension, is projected to again improve his numbers this year, as he has done each year that he has been in the league. On top of that, Kuminga and Moody gained valuable playoff experience and are both set to fill in bigger roles than that of their rookie seasons. I haven't even mentioned Patrick Baldwin Jr., a 6'10" wing with a sweet stroke seemingly destined to be drafted by the Warriors, who many hail as the steal of the 2022 NBA draft. It seems that the statistical model that ESPN used has ignored just how much impact these youngsters can have. In a way, you can convince yourself that this year's version of the Warriors can potentially be better than the version of them that won the title last year. As you can see, the Warriors are extremely deep, and head coach Steve Kerr has a lot of weapons in his arsenal. He can go big with Wiseman at the 5, or roll with his patented small ball lineup with one of the best defensive players of all time, shoring up the front court in former Defensive Player of the Year Draymond Green. We haven't even talked about first-time All-Star Andrew Wiggins, who showed massive improvements in the playoffs, particularly in the NBA Finals when he went toe-to-toe with their opponent's best player in Jason Tatum. Wiggins showed out against the Celtics in the Finals, averaging 18.3 points, 8.8 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks per game. He finished that series as the leading rebounder, blocker, and second highest scorer for the Dubs. Their offseason acquisitions of Dante DiVincenzo and JaMychal Green can also pay huge dividends for Golden State this year. Both of them are proven contributors in the league, and they also provide much-needed depth come playoff time, especially if the aging core of Curry, Thompson, and Green opt to rest in order to preserve their bodies in the regular season. This depth speaks volumes to the lazy and blatant form of disrespect to the last team that we should be disrespecting. To be fair to ESPN, they weren't the only ones underrating the Warriors. On Tuesday, the results of the 2022 to 2023 annual GM survey were released. The survey collected the responses of general managers across the NBA regarding various questions ranging from different categories, such as which team will win the 2023 NBA Finals, who will win the 2022-23 Kia MVP, and so on. To the first question about who the GMs think will win the finals, the Warriors weren't the top vote-getters. That honor belongs to the Milwaukee Bucks, who lost to the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference semifinals last year. Not to say that the Bucks aren't talented and capable enough to win the title again, because they are. However, the disparity in votes between the two teams are kind of high. 43% for the Bucks and only 25% for the Dubs. While this is a far better prediction than that of ESPN's, there just seems to be something wrong about not proclaiming the Warriors as the downright favorites to win it all next year and repeat. For additional context, the same survey last year showed that 0% of NBA GMs voted for the Warriors to win the title. They also voted that the team would finish 5th in the West. Articles like this from Clutch Points also greatly underestimate the Warriors' capabilities of repeating. In it, they describe the 3 reasons why Golden State won't repeat. Namely, the West is supposedly a bloodbath this year. The team they faced in the 2022 finals was young and inexperienced, and that Stephen Curry is old. All those 3 reasons may be true, but they don't necessarily mean that the Warriors have lesser chance of repeating as champions next season. Firstly, the West has always been loaded with talent. In fact, it has been commonly accepted that the West features more talent than the East, and that has only changed recently. Second, while the Boston Celtics may be young, they shouldn't be called inexperienced, as the core of Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and Al Horford have been able to reach the East Finals 4 times in the last 6 years. Additionally, the notion that the Celtics were the inferior Eastern Conference team for the Warriors is just straight up ridiculous. They were able to beat the likes of Kevin Durant and the Nets, Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks, and Jimmy Butler and the Heat on their way to the NBA Finals matchup against Golden State. Lastly, Curry being old is an inevitable fact, but him aging won't negatively impact his game all that much since he doesn't rely too much on athleticism to scorch opposing teams from beyond the arc. Last year, they were grossly underrated too. As recently as the NBA Finals, in fact, when ESPN, of course, had the Celtics' chances of winning the title at 86% as opposed to the Warriors' 14%. While no one from the Warriors has personally issued a statement regarding the preview, Curry made it clear that ESPN was way off in their prediction that the Dubs would lose the NBA Finals last year, which they ended up winning. In a comment made on the official NBA on ESPN account, Curry called out ESPN, saying that the media gave them a 14% chance to win the finals last year too. No one had the Dubs winning it all last year, but look where we are now. I highly doubt that the Warriors need the extra motivation. Curry and his pals have been here countless times. They know what it takes to win, and they have shown time and time again that they are more than capable of doing so, regardless of what critics say. I wouldn't be surprised if, come June next year, we'll see Curry once again prove his naysayers wrong and shatter the expectations bestowed upon the Warriors.